On January 4th, 1970, at the Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota, the 12-2 Minnesota Vikings defeated the 10-3-1 Cleveland Browns easily, 27-7, in the 1969 NFL Championship game. On the same day, at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, the 11-3 Kansas City Chiefs defeated the 12-1-1 Oakland Raiders by a score of 17-7 in the last ever AFL League game. The victors would meet in the 4th annual and very last AFL-NFL Championship game, coined the Super Bowl. Super Bowl IV, January 11th, 1970. The time, 2:40 Central. And for the first time, the location was Tulane Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana. On a 61-degree day, after a pre-game tornado watch, the game was played under an overcast sky with 80,562 in attendance. The game pitted the NFL champion and the then still believed Superior League, despite losing to the AFL a year ago, the Minnesota Vikings, against the 13-point underdog, the Kansas City Chiefs. The game was broadcast solely by CBS, charging $78,000 for a 30-second commercial. The Kansas City Chiefs had been here before, competing in their second Super Bowl, this time as the first ever wildcard team to make it to the big game. Their leadership was ultimately the same as Super Bowl I. Innovative head coach Hank Stram and quarterback Len Dawson, no stranger to the big game. The Minnesota Vikings, known for a bone-crushing defense led by a mean defensive line, nicknamed the Purple People Eaters, and head coach former player Bud Grant. The Vikings were expected to destroy the Chiefs. A combination of both leagues' officials officiated the contest, but was led by AFL head referee John McDonough. There was a lot at stake. The Minnesota Vikings were looking to cement the NFL's legacy as the superior league and the final AFL-NFL World Championship game. Led by future Hall of Famers on defense, including Alan Page at defensive tackle and Paul Krause in the secondary, who would go on to set the all-time league interception record with 81. The Kansas City Chiefs boasted 7 future Hall of Famers in their starting lineup, with 6 on defense, including the fantastic linebacker tandem of Bobby Bell and Willie Lanier. The offense was led by quarterback Len Dawson, who was considered one of, if not the top quarterbacks, in the AFL. His success, however, was brushed off as playing in an inferior league, an opinion that could change with an AFL win in Super Bowl IV. Super Bowl IV. The Vikings started with the football and quarterback Joe Kapp started hot, but fizzled out rather quickly. After a punt, the Chiefs completed an 8-play, 42-yard drive with a Jan Stenerud 48-yard field goal, the longest in Super Bowl history, a record which would hold for 24 years until Super Bowl 28. The first Norwegian-born American football player and one of the first soccer-style kickers kicking with the inside of his foot rather than the straight-on method, Stenerud and his 3 field goals to begin the contest and later 2 extra points marked the kicker as one of the game's most important players. With the Chiefs leading 6-0, Len Dawson was picked off by all-time interception king Paul Krause. The turnover, however, didn't amount to anything productive for the Vikings, and the Chiefs shortly made the score 9-0. On the ensuing kickoff, the Vikings fumbled and the Chiefs recovered. A few plays later, the stage was set for the game's most famous play, a 5-yard Mike Garrett touchdown run, the 65 toss power trap. For the first time in Super Bowl history, a head coach, Hank Stram of the Kansas City Chiefs, was mic'd up via NFL Films.
65 toss power trap, yeah!
Coach Stram acted as his team's offensive coordinator and game-planned run traps and draw plays against a very aggressive Viking defensive line. Garrett ended the game as the leading rusher for the contest with 11 carries for 39 yards and a Kansas City Chief touchdown. On the flip side of the football, the Vikings' undersized offensive line struggled against the larger Kansas City Chief defensive line, and were only able to rush for a team total of 67 yards in the game, 24 yards in the first half, and were unable to convert on 3rd down, going 0 for 5 to begin the contest. The score at halftime was 16-0, Chiefs. The halftime entertainment included a reenactment of the Battle of New Orleans. The Vikings had a productive 10-play, 69-yard drive early in the third quarter, which resulted in a 4-yard Dave Osborne rushing touchdown, making the score 16-7. Joe Kapp went 16 of 25 for 183 yards in the game and had 2 costly interceptions. The Vikings' fantastic run game was completely shut down by the stingy Chief defense. Vikings wide receiver John Henderson caught 7 balls for 111 yards in the contest, but it wasn't enough. On their next possession, the Chiefs stormed back and scored on a Len Dawson 46-yard pass to Otis Taylor. The score would cement the game for the Chiefs. The Chiefs' first Super Bowl victory, 23-7, behind the crafty head coach Hank Stram, the soccer-style kicker, the future Hall of Fame defense, and ultimately the game's MVP, quarterback Len Dawson. Dawson went 12 of 17 for 142 yards and a touchdown, with 1 interception as well. He was the 4th straight quarterback to win the game's MVP. The Kansas City Chiefs shocked the world and tied the all-time series 2-2, going into the AFL-NFL merger. The AFL would become the American Football Conference, the AFC, and the NFL would become the NFC, the National Football Conference. The 2 conferences would play under the National Football League, the NFL.